It's fun, and you get to meet lots of nice stars.
It was planned that Shannen Doherty and Jennie Garth would be best friends on Beverly Hills 90210. It was war going on behind the scenes. It began with harmless jokes. Jennie made fun of the crew by pulling down their pants.
Shannen used something even worse to fight back.
On set, she lifted Jennie's skirt, letting everyone see her underwear. The jokes got bad. Then there was the day they fought on the Peach Pit set. The police had to separate them.
Everyone was shocked by what came next. You will never know what you thought you knew about their 30-year fight again. Her birthday is April 12, 1971, and she was born at 5:23 p.m. Is in a small hospital in the middle of Memphis, Tennessee.
Rosa was her mother, and she ran a beauty salon and was a Southern Baptist. Tom, her father, worked in banks, and their family kept strict rules and went to church every Sunday. It was in the southern air of Memphis that her roots went deep into the ground. They were made up of Irish, English, Scottish, and French lines.
Rosa was very stylish and spoke in a friendly way. Every week, she would take little Shannen dress shopping for Sunday clothes.
Honor, order, and family rhythms shaped her early years in a way that never really left her. When Shannen was 2 years old, her family moved for a short time to Palm Springs, California, because her dad's job changed. It was sunny, and there were movie posters and fancy shops all over it. As she walked around the Palm Springs Mall with Rosa, she would look at movie ads and dream, but she didn't know what her dreams were about. A simple house on West Granada Street was where they lived. The job her dad had at the bank paid the bills, but there was no extra money for fun.
Even then, Shannen caught my eye.
People in the neighborhood remembered how she ran park games like a little general. That's where she first got a good look at Hollywood and could picture it. The family moved again in 1978, but this time they were moving for good. They went to Los Angeles because her dad grew his moving business.
Palos Verdes turned into a home. Shannen went to Valmonte Elementary School at first.
Her mother saw that she loved acting and encouraged her to join church shows in the area. It was used as a practice space in the garage. Rosa took her to her interviews, helped her learn her lines, and cheered her on from the sidelines.
She got lucky at 10 o'clock.
In 1981, she got a part on Father Murphy as a sassy orphan in a 2-part NBC special. Michael Landon, the producer, saw something in her when they saw her at Culver Studios. He taught her how to get through a set and how to be a professional. He also told her about the bad parts of the business. The things he taught her stuck with her for years.
Shannen was going to Lycée Français de Los Angeles, a strict bilingual school known for having tough classes and famous alumni like Jodie Foster and Claire Danes.
In between reading French literature, she read scripts in secret under her desk. She got her diploma with honors in 1989. She was in the top 5% of her class. She stayed late most days to practice her lines for hours. She missed some events, like graduation, because she had to film them, but she always came back to get what she earned. That school taught her right from wrong and opened her eyes to other countries. She had her brother Sean with her at home.
Sean, who was born in 1967, was 5 years older and very watchful.
He made fun of her hopes to become an actress, but he never made fun of them. Sean stood up for her when kids were being mean to her. They made up their own weird games and played in the park for hours.
Sean was one of the few people Shannen could always trust, even after she became famous. She was known for her role in Father Murphy by the end of 1981. Landon took her back and quietly taught her. She was cast as Jenny Wilder in the last season of Little House on the Prairie in 1982.
She had to have depth because her character was taken in after a parent died. Shannen, who was only 11, wrote about how she felt like she was removed from all the moves and the unknown. The crew praised how she cried right on time. That feeling was easy for her to carry, maybe because she was already carrying a lot. It came out in July 1982 and was Don Bluth's cartoon movie The Secret of Neem H. She did the voice of Teresa Brisby in that movie. Something real came through in her words. Like a young mouse lost in a strange world, pure and innocent. It was a small but important part. She was already squished, though. By 1984, when she was only 13, she was always cast in parts that made her look like a rebellious teen. She danced and smiled in Girls Just Want to Have Fun scenes that made her look like the wild one.
She wasn't even 14 yet.
In the 1985 episode of Highway to Heaven called At 14, she played a runaway girl. This time, she was pulling from her own life. Moving around too much, losing friends, and not having a place to call home.
That part she knew very well. Aaron Spelling was in the mood for teen dramas at the time that act caught his attention. His mind was still on Shannen's quiet focus.
At that time, she was being considered for ads for Mattel toys, like Barbie.
Rosa stepped in, though. She knew what children artists went through in the 1980s. Abuse? Trickery, public outrage, and lawsuits?
No, she said.
Shannen didn't do the ads for Barbie. She didn't turn into a brand icon.
That quiet choice probably saved her life.
Others, like Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, didn't have as much fun.
She played Heather Duke in Heathers in 1988. She was only 16 years old when she made the dark comedy that became her signature look for years.
The line, "Heather, what's your damage?" echoed everywhere.
When it came out in March 1989, the movie made a lot of noise.
Some places didn't let it happen. Theaters took it down. They fought over it. It didn't matter, though. Shannen had shown up.
Along with Winona Ryder and Christian Slater, her acting stood out for being honest and sharp. By the end of that year, there were a lot of studio offers. In 1989, she tried out for Beverly Hills 90210. There were more than 200 girls who wanted to play Brenda Walsh.
Shannen got it.
She took her Memphis accent and made it sound more like a Midwestern one. The producers loved it. The deal was for 5 episodes and paid her $5,000 each.
The show didn't have a name yet.
It was quickly taped, and by October 1990, it was airing.
She became Brenda to millions of people overnight. Behind the scenes, though, things were already tense. Shannen had a fight with her co-stars.
The producers said she didn't always follow the rules, but she didn't give up either. Before all of that, she had a small part in Ron Howard's Night Shift in 1982. She was only 11 years old, wearing a bluebird costume, and she chased Henry Winkler's character through a crazy scene that made it into the final cut. Even though it was short, she made an impression. In 1987, tabloids were already writing about how feisty she was on set. In 1988, she got a guest part on 21 Jump Street while she was still in high school. In Season 4, Episode 12, she played Janine DeGray.
What a star Johnny Depp is already.
She was warned about parties in Hollywood.
She didn't pay attention.
She went into clubs without being allowed because she liked the scene. The camera liked her, but the directors saw that she had a flaw. There was a real wild side to her. It wasn't just for the screen. Her next job was with the William Morris Agency, after Heathers. She got her first $100,000 movie deal when she was 17. There was a risk with that much money.
Fame caused problems.
She began to be bothered by her older co-stars. She hired a bodyguard instead of a publicist or boss. Teenager as she was, she knew she needed to be safe after what she had seen. Her choice made news and changed the way people in the business talked about it. She had to do that because other girls her age didn't.
Shannen Doherty became popular very quickly when she started playing Brenda Walsh on the October 4th season of Beverly Hills 90220.
1990, about 14.2 million people watched each show of that first season on average.
It wasn't just a hit. It looked like a wave.
Teenagers all over the United States could relate to Brenda as she dealt with love interests, family arguments, peer pressure, and the strange new world of Beverly Hills. Brenda was shown to be smart, emotional, and quietly rebellious in the first episode, Class of Beverly Hills.
She wasn't like every other TV girl. She was real.
When the show talked about more serious issues like race, poverty, and body image, it felt like it was more than just TV. The first season of 902 TWA changed the way people thought about culture, and Brenda Walsh was at the center of it all.
Shannen was up for the Young Artist Award for Best Young Actress in 1991.
That praise wasn't just for her acting skills, it was also for how well she got along with Jason Priestley, who played her twin brother Brandon. Fans began to wonder if they were siblings in real life because of how close they seemed to be on TV.
In reality, it was about something personal.
She and her real brother Sean had always been close. That connection showed up in every scene with Brenda and Brandon, even when things were hard at home. It wasn't fake or planned, and it made people care even more about them.
Things started to change after the second season in 1991.
Brady's story took a sudden turn when she kissed Dylan McKay, played by Luke Perry.
Fans weren't ready for that. People saw her as the good girl, the moral guide.
But now she was being brave and taking chances.
Getting into the fuzzy area.
A kiss set off a storm.
People called the makers. Some people even spoke out at the studio gates. Teen publications couldn't get enough of it.
Suddenly, was made to look like the bad girl on the show, and the writers played along with it.
Fan writing went crazy. A huge number of letters came in. No one turned away, whether they liked her or not. That's when Brenda's real time started. Shannen ran Saturday Night Live on October 6, 1993, when she was only 21 years old. It should have been a moment of victory.
The speech didn't work at all as planned. She fell, paused, and tried to make jokes that didn't work, but she didn't give up. In a later sketch that was a spoof of 902 TQ, she made fun of herself so well that fans loved it. People across the country shared that sketch on VHS tapes and even wrote about it in early fan emails.
It became a beloved moment. In one night, it went down and came back up.
It showed exactly what kind of person Shannen was at the time. They are well known, move too quickly, are still learning how to handle the attention. She was making $35,000 per show by 1992. She used that paycheck to buy her first Los Angeles house. But with success came fights over who was in charge, mostly over clothes.
There were calls for glam looks and tight skirts. Shannen really wanted jeans.
In her defense, she said Brenda wasn't a model. She had to stay home.
The fights got rough and loud.
She didn't back down, but it was personal. She turned down clothes that didn't make her feel like Brenda. In a field where young women were often forced to do what made the most money, her refusal was important.
She was quietly setting rules that would last longer than the show.
After that, there were joke wars. Jennie Garth started Pants Down Day in 1992, when she was shooting season 3 and was making fun of the crew by pulling their pants down.
Shannen answered the phone when techs were upset and wanted to complain. What did she make?
Skirt Up Day. By flipping Jennie's skirt over, you can see her Calvin Klein boxers.
It stopped being funny.
There was war. The crew split up into groups.
People chose a side.
Stress turned into jokes, and the stress turned into something worse. It blew up one day on the Peach Pit set.
Jennie was questioned by Shannen. It got louder. After that, it got real. Pushing. Getting loud. Outside is fine.
The fight got so bad that Brian Austin Green and Ian Ziering had to step in and stop it. The movie stopped for 2 hours.
Producers met in an emergency.
Studio executives told them both that breaking their contracts would happen.
After that day, scenes with both women were not allowed in the Peach Pit.
The plans were changed.
The energy on set went down. The news got out almost right away to the press.
It was called the 90210 catfight in the tabloids. Crew members began to spread rumors.
Someone said Jennie was a diva. Someone else said Shannen was crazy.
Aaron Spelling got so mad that he wouldn't let either actor talk about the other in talks.
Tensions kept rising even after that. The table says it got cold.
Shannen sat by herself. Both Jennie and Tori Spelling wouldn't look at each other. The production assistants made complicated schedules for shooting just to keep them apart. After many years, in 2024, Shannen talked about it on her show, Let's Be Clear. By then, she had a disease that would kill her soon. She was brutally honest when she thought about those years. The 16-hour days, the stress of being famous at age 21, and being worn out. She said she went too far with the joke, but she also said she was just trying to get by in a tough situation. She was scared. She was tired and acted badly, but she took responsibility for it. It was clear who was friends with whom on set after the fight. Jennie had Tori's back. Shannen ate by herself in her bunker. She started asking for solo stories. Ones where you wouldn't have to work with Jennie or Tori. That's where the Paris trip arc came from. They were split up by producers who changed the scripts. It says turned cold on the table. Brenda's scenes became more alone. It was clear that something had to give by the end of season 4. Shannen's last show aired on May 25, 1994. It was called Mr. Walsh Goes to Washington. Her story to TV Guide months ago that she quit the show was not true. She was fired. She and Aaron Spelling never really talked to each other. It was getting late for her to set. She would sometimes be late, which made everyone's day last 2 or 3 hours longer. Members of the cast were upset. It was hard to ignore the tension, and there was a story behind that behavior. In October 1993, she married Ashley Hamilton, but by April 1994, they were no longer together. His drug use got worse during that time, and Shannen was afraid to leave him alone. She lost her job because she couldn't handle her life and work at the same time. Season 4 of 90,210 had the most viewers of any season so far. It got an average of 21.1 million people a week. It hurt fans a lot when Brenda left. She moved to Minnesota at the end of the story, but the conversations didn't stop. Shannen told TV Guide once more that she wished someone had just sat her down and told her what was going to happen. She thought it could have been saved, and she had always been angry that the show, which was about the Walsh twins, let one of them go without a word. Kelly Taylor, played by Jennie Garth, became the show's main character after she left. In some stories, Brenda looked stupid for leaving. Shannen knew she didn't like it, and the prank war images would never go away. All of those things, the skirt lift, the boxer shorts, and the almost fight, stayed with me. Both women later said they were strong-willed Aries who never gave up. And being stuck on set for 14 to 16 hours a day made it easy for things to blow up. It was hard for her on her last day on set. He was the only group member she really felt close to. They were friends in a lot of ways besides being Brenda and Dylan. She said she felt lost when he died of a stroke in 2019 at the age of 52. She said that his life had been a blessing to her. In 1994, Brenda said goodbye to Dylan in their last scene together. She said, "I won't be gone forever." It turned out to be true. The weight of that goodbye never went away, even though she came back in the 2008 version. After leaving 90210, she tried to switch to movies. The movie Mallrats, which came out in 1995 and cost $6.1 million and was directed by Kevin Smith, gave her her first major role. Tom Pollock, who ran the studio, said it was the next Animal House. Think it will make $100 million at the box office. But the movie only made $2.4 million altogether, with only $1 million in its first weekend. Shannen was to blame because she was the one who got the most attention. The press said she would kill at the box office. She tried for 2 years but couldn't get a big movie part. Later, she told Kevin Smith that some people thought the movie didn't do well because of her. She told me it was all my fault. After that, she couldn't get any more movie roles. In 1997, she made a short movie about violence in the home called The Ticket. It was private. Some of it was real pain. She was given a ticket for abuse in 1992 after a fight at the Roxbury Club. There were no charges. In 1996, though, she broke a beer bottle on a car outside the Formosa Cafe. Took a plea deal for damage in 1997 and was put on probation for 2 years. Had to pay $5,400 or do 540 hours of community service, and he or she also had to go to anger management. After that came Charmed. Aaron Spelling gave her another chance in 1998. She made $75,000 an episode for her role as Prue Halliwell. Something went wrong again behind the scenes while she was in charge of 3 shows.
After getting angry, Alyssa Milano called a mediator.
In 2001, she told the directors they had to do something.
Shannen must either leave or walk. Milano said he would sue for making the workplace toxic.
Holly Marie Combs and Shannon Combs turned down mediation.
In the end, Milano's push paid off.
Shannen got fired again, but no one came clean in public. For years, her reps said she quit on her own. In 2023, Combs told the whole story on Shannon's show, which made the truth come out. She got married to Ashley Hamilton in September 1993, when she was 22 years old. Ashley Hamilton was the son of star George Hamilton and was already very addicted to drugs. Shannen Doherty believed she was making a life for herself, but it turned out to be a trap. He'd run away to get drugs. He was mad when he got back.
After many years, she told it that he would become very angry.
Being afraid of what he would do if she stayed home made her afraid to leave the house. Behind closed doors, things got worse. At the same time, her dad was very sick.
She didn't tell anyone.
Not her bosses or co-stars. But the chaos followed her to the set of Beverly Hills 90210. Other players had to work terrible 17-hour days instead of 14-hour ones because she started being late. They had no idea what was going on at home. They only saw how hard she was to deal with. In 1994, 9 months after getting married, she lost her job, and the marriage ended too. She never said that the show was to blame for leaving her. She made it clear years later. All of it was their own fault. After that, she married poker player Rick Salomon in 2002. The marriage was only valid for 9 months before it was dissolved in 2003. Soon after, the 2003 sex tape with Paris Hilton, which was filmed while he was still seeing Shannen, made him famous. He sued Hilton's family for $10 million, saying they lied about him to make him look like a monster. Hilton replied by suing for $30 million for mental harm. Everything went off, and Shannen was caught in it again. Afterward, she said that Salomon's drug use had ruined their short marriage. The videotape became the most downloaded video of all time in 2004.
She didn't want all the attention. The scandal made her name appear in every news story.
She was trying to get her job back. Now her name was linked to more of Hollywood's shadiest stories.
However, her story wasn't over yet.
At 3 a.m. on December 28, 2000, she was pulled over by the CHP on the Ventura Freeway near Thousand Oaks. She was 29 years old and driving a black Ford pickup that was moving between lanes. She said no to the test. A blood test showed that the level was 0.13%, which is much higher than the legal limit of 0.08. She could have been sent to jail by the judge. In its place, she got 5 days of work release, 3 years of probation, and community service. She talked to kids about how dangerous it is to drive drunk.
That was helpful. The bail amount could have been $2,000.
She was let go on her own recognizance, but the press went after her.
It was easy to call someone a wild child. She was now the party girl you couldn't trust, on or off screen.
She got married a third time in 2011.
This one went on longer. In 2008, she met photojournalist Kurt Iswarienko, and in October 2011, they got married.
Their wedding was shown on Shannen Says, her television show. It looked like a new beginning, but she broke up with him in January 2023, when things were at their worst. In April, she asked for a divorce even though she was in stage 4 cancer that had spread to her brain. Court papers said he left her while she was getting treatment. She told him he was dragging out the breakup to get out of paying her help. They didn't have a prenup or kids, they were just in pain.
She didn't want to split up.
Her agent told her that Shannen didn't want to do it, but she felt like she had no choice. On July 12, 2024, he signed the agreement. The day she died, July 13, he signed his side. There was a split 2 days after she died.
She was 53 years old. Hollywood wasn't quick to forget.
Her image was at its worst after she was fired from Charmed in 2001, during the 3rd season.
There were rumors that Alyssa Milano had said she would sue over an unfriendly workplace.
In the end, Holly Marie Combs said she felt pressured. They agreed to stay after Shannen was fired.
The talk about Blacklist spread quickly. Some directors changed their minds.
The risk was too great for her, so she turned down cameos in Scary Movie. But Kevin Smith helped her. In 1995, he cast her in Mallrats. In 2001, he brought her back. She did her own speech for Jay and Silent Bob's Strike Back. He didn't care about what people said. That appearance was important. It proved that some people had not turned away. In March 2015, she was told she had cancer.
She was 44 years old. A lymph gland was already infected with it. What made things worse?
She did not have health insurance. In November 2013, the bill to pay her SAG medical fees was sent to her management company, Tanner Mainstain Glenn & Johnson.
They didn't pay.
In February 2014, they stopped working with her without telling her. She couldn't see a doctor until 2015.
It was too late by the time she did. We gave her chemotherapy, a hysterectomy, and radiation. She went to court.
Said they kept her from being caught early.
In August 2016, they moved in.
The terms were never talked about.
She made it through.
She was no longer sick by April 2017.
She wrote on Instagram, "Good news?" Yes. That was a lot, but the fear never went away. She knew that return could happen in 5 years or less.
With help from the Farrah Fawcett Foundation, she had reconstructive surgery at the beginning of 2017. Then, she got more news while shooting BH 9022 Tune in the winter of 2019.
The sickness came back. The fourth stage.
Only Brian Austin Green knew what she said.
The filming went on. In order to show that life doesn't end at stage 4, she did this. A CT scan in January 2023, however, showed that it had gone to her brain. She started radiotherapy on January 12.
In June, she shared a video of herself crying while the immobilization mask was being put on.
In small places, she hated it.
The mask held her head still.
She told me that my fear was clear.
It had reached her bones by November.
Then in January 2024, she brought up a glimmer of hope. It looked like a new intravenous treatment would work.
After the 6th or 7th round, she said it got through to the brain.
That's a miracle to me. She worked even though it hurt.
She was in 2 Lifetime movies in 2021, Dying to Belong and List of a Lifetime. They ran right after each other on October 9th and 10th. She was also in charge of the material for Lifetime's Stop Breast Cancer for Life campaign.